Turning now to the amazing events this week in State Parliament. Never before has a convicted criminal and former MP come back into the chamber to explain his actions. Gordon Nuttall took a break from his 12-year jail term for receiving secret payments to defend parliamentary charges that he failed to declare hundreds of thousands of dollars from businessmen. The former minister compared himself to a Christian being thrown to the lions, and while he offered an apology to the House, he never once conceded any wrongdoing. Here's some of what Nuttall had to say.
I struggle each and every day to understand where the criminality is in our behaviour. In living my life, I have made many mistakes along the way, but I have never knowingly or wrongfully set out to do wrong. And it grieves me greatly to think that there are those who have a different view. Many of you here today know me well. You know the type of person I am, the values I have tried to live by, such values as justice, mercy and compassion, and to always treat others as you yourself would wish to be treated. This has been my creed in life. I like to think, Mr. Speaker, that I tried in some way to remind people to stick up for what is right and to always have the courage of their convictions.
Gordon Nuttall speaking in Parliament yesterday. The ABC's state political reporter, Chris O'Brien, was there for Nuttall's appearance. I spoke with him earlier. Chris, were people surprised to see Nuttall still protesting his innocence so adamantly?
I don't particularly think they were. That, of course, to a certain extent, Jess, was the whole purpose of the event. It was a parliamentary procedure in which Gordon Nuttall was here to explain why he didn't declare this money. So I suppose from his point of view, it was natural that he would protest his innocence. What did strike people very much was the vehemence with which he protested it and the number of people that he blamed for what went on.
This, of course, though, wasn't supposed to be about re-prosecuting the criminal matters, was it? But separate parliamentary charges.
An interesting distinction to make. This was not about the criminal charges in the courts over the past few years. That, of course, was about the payments that he received and whether they were corrupt or not. He was found guilty of that. But the Parliament, simultaneously, when the money started becoming apparent, charged him for not declaring it. You see, it's incumbent upon MPs to declare all their income of any kind on the pecuniary interests register. He didn't do that, so he was charged by the Parliament.
That pecuniary interest register that you just mentioned, one of the issues Nuttall raised in his defence was that the rules surrounding the disclosure of interests are confusing. There doesn't seem to have been much sympathy for that argument either, though.
Jess, there wasn't much sympathy for that argument at all. Nuttall seemed to be saying that the guidelines didn't require him to declare what he said were innocent loans from friends. Now, a couple of people have torn that down pretty quickly by just looking at the guidelines as they stand. There's a couple of reasons for that. For example, the Premier, when she made her speech in the debate which followed Nuttall's appearance yesterday, she said that there is no ambiguity. Ironically, she herself has been caught by some ambiguity in the rules of the pecuniary interest register, and she conceded that, but she said in the Nuttall case there is no ambiguity. She pointed out that whether money comes as a gift, by way of a loan or by way of income, it must be declared.
Chris, this was a parliamentary first that an inmate addressed the Parliament, but of course not just any inmate, a former Labor minister. What's the political damage to the government?
The opposition says it's big. The government doesn't think it is. The government claims, of course, that they didn't know what Nuttall was doing.
Gordon Nuttall is corrupt. Gordon Nuttall is a criminal. But undeniably, Gordon Nuttall is a creature of the Labor Party in Queensland. And undeniably, Gordon Nuttall is a creature of the arrogant state Labor government that thought it was invincible and unchallengeable. And today, Mr Speaker, those in Labor who nurtured him, his Labor mates who protected him, will try to erase their memories of the past. They will say they felt betrayed.
And even doubly so, Mr Speaker, because, as other members know, I defended Mr Nuttall in this House when he was accused and properly found to have misled this Parliament. And I said at that time, and it's been I'm sure we'll hear it again this afternoon. People have said that I made the point that I knew him to be a decent and honest person. And that is what I thought I knew of this man. But such was the depth of his dishonesty, so elaborate were his schemes to hide what he was doing, that neither I nor any other member could have possibly known.